All right, now let's go over the 9 steps to healing your natural hair and its soul. Let's first talk about how the fact that your natural hair has a soul. If you've listened to a previous episode of the Angel Barnette Show, that you've learned that your natural hair has a soul, and that how you talk to and how you treat it, how you take care of it, how you manage it, how you are, your perspective on your hair, right? The results show in your hair. What that means is that the better that you talk to your hair with love, the more that you talk to your hair with love and compassion, the healthier that your hair will be, right? Which that also means if right away you start, let's just say, for example, we give you a healing quote of the week each week at the Angel Barnette Show. What if you took those quotes, you journaled them the way we describe or recommend you to journal, and you call into your dream natural hair, you call your natural hair bliss in, you infuse that into your soul, into your natural hair soul, you're going to start seeing results, not even just from changing your hair care, but thinking differently about your hair. Let's talk about the 9 steps. And I'm going to go over them very, very fast. So first I want to show you what my natural hair healing framework, looks like, aka natural hair healing process, right? Natural hair healing system, like whatever. I interchange the names, but this is what it looks like. Okay. So this is like I think this is like the very first time that I wrote this. I usually use my whiteboard, but I don't know where my markers are because we're at my mom's and all that. And anyways, so this is what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go over the 9 steps, and I'm going to go over them pretty quickly just because I haven't went over all of them in a while. Maybe it's been about a month or so. So the first step is creating your soulful goal. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go over all of them very fast, and then I'm going to kind of nail it. I'm going to dial it in on evolve your care, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, as well as your progression cycle. So the first step in my natural hair healing framework process is creating your soulful goal. And everything that I have here is in order to what you should address and when, right? So the first thing is addressing what is your actual hair goal. I've learned that when clients of mine, when they start working with me, when we work together, if they don't have a vision, if they're unclear on what they actually want, it's a lot harder for them to achieve their hair goals versus the people that actually have hair goals, the people that have lavish goals that they end up creating, especially in our self-care challenge, which that's what we do in the self-care challenge. We really help you do that first step, because if you don't do that, then you're done, right? So if you have never signed up for the self-care challenge, go to dreamnaturalhair.com/self-care challenge. That way you can either be put on the waiting list, depending on what time that you put this information, you can either put on the waiting list for when we have our next challenge registration open, because there is a registration period. Is not open for whenever. It's a live ordeal. Or you can just go ahead and register and claim your spot in the challenge itself, right? So you can go to dreamnaturalhair.com/self-care challenge, okay? So that's the first step in the healing system. You have to create a goal. You have to know what you want in it, and don't create no goal of what you have already done. Go beyond that. Don't say, Angel, I want to have shoulder length hair because that's the longest my hair has ever grown. Like, no, don't. But would you like something longer, right? How would it feel to grow bra strap lip? How would it feel to grow waist length hair? Like, how would that feel? Would it feel like, tell me, like let's really dig into that and think about why, right? That's what we do in the challenge. And then you have me to guide you through that whole process, so it's like really, really magical. The next step is learning your progression cycle. Okay, your progression cycle is what's going to give you results, because you know what? It doesn't matter what goal you have about your hair if you're not seeing progression in the health of your hair. If you're not seeing progression in the length of your hair, if you're not noticing any changes in your regimen of creating more ease and flow in your life, who cares, right? Like, don't nobody want to do all these things and not see any results. So in your progression cycle, you learn what are the things that you need to do to get results. And there's 5 phases. You go all through the phases, and then it takes you through your whole journey. You just keep doing them over and over and over and over again until you reach your natural hair bliss. And by that time, you're like, whatever I want to do, I can do. And you are convinced because you have seen results with your hair. I'm talking about results like the next time that you shampoo your hair, you need to be able to see results in your hair, right? And it's easy. I'm not talking about, and I don't care if you decide to shampoo your hair tomorrow night or even tonight. You should notice a difference in your hair when you're doing the right things, and you get that from your progression cycle, okay? The next step is preventing product junkie habits. Oh my gosh, preventing product junkie habits. You know what that means? That means we are literally taking you to rehab with this whole natural hair healing process, right? Because your natural hair does have a soul, and right now, that soul is a junkie. Is a junkie. The soul is a junkie. It wants to buy all these products because it thinks there's some magical product, when, if you've been listening to this entire episode, you've heard me say there is no magical product. If you've ever been following me, you know that there is no magical product, right? It's how you care for your hair, how you use the product, and so many other things. No. Stop buying all the products. And that's what I teach you, right? I first teach you how to use the products that you currently have first, and then I will teach you what your next purchase should be, instead of doing it the other way, going out and buying a whole bunch of product and then like, oh my gosh, it doesn't really work for me, or like it worked good for so and so. I saw her do it on the YouTube channel and I did it the same way that she did. Who cares? Y'all don't even have the same hair situation. It's not even just about the curl pattern. It's about so many other things. And when you're not thinking about that, or when you don't know about it, then you're wasting time doing so many things. Like, it's just too much, right? Next step is learning your situation, right? That's when you dial it on in on what your situation actually is. Do you have thin edges? Do you have a bald spot? Do you have to wear your hair in a certain way because of where you work? Do you have to, whatever it is, right? Do you have high blood pressure? Is your arm hurt, your elbow hurt, your right elbow hurt, and you gotta figure out how to care for your hair to not cause pain in your back or your arms? You got carpal tunnel or whatever it is, right? What are your situationals, right, is what I call them, okay? How you doing? You hanging with me? Let's do it. The next one is choosing your go-to styles. Because look, ain't no need to be having this beautiful hair that you have and just wear a puff. Now don't get me wrong. If a puff is one of your go-to styles, then that's okay, right? Like for me, a puff is my absolute last resort. And even then, I may just not go nowhere. Right, like I may have to just figure something out. But when you have certain hairstyles that you can go to, that you know, hey, if this hairstyle messes up, I know how to get it back together. I know how to spruce it up, right? That's what your go-to styles are. Your go-to styles are you creating hairstyles that last longer than one day and that just don't look good on someone else, right? And you want to try it just because it looks good on someone else. That's not what this is, okay? After that is evolve your care. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into it really quick, but let's just keep going, okay? So evolve your care is just making sure that you know that how you care for your hair will evolve as the health of your hair evolves, as the length of your hair evolves, as the fullness, thickness of your hair, right? As your hair changes and improves, how you care for it will change. For example, I've had plenty of women say, Angel, I used to use this product on my hair. It worked great before, and now it's like trash. Like, I don't even know what to do. And the truth is, your hair changed. Whether it changed worse or better, how you care for your hair will need to change, right? Your hair, when it's thin, excuse me, if you're working on growing your hair thicker, as it grows thicker, how you care for it will change, okay? So we're going to go a little bit more into that after we finish all of them. The next step is matching your lifestyle and your personality. So what you want to do is create a regimen that fits your lifestyle instead of creating a regimen or hair care habits that are exhausting or confusing, is complicated, it's just too much. Like, don't do what so-and-so was doing down the street just because her hair looks fabulous, right? Don't do that. Because when you do that, you're stuck in a predicament like, dang, if I gotta do all of this and not see any results with my hair, or even if you're doing all of that and seeing results, you like, if I gotta do all this just to see results, then like, it's not even that serious. Or like, I don't know, I think I'm lazy. Like, no, you're not lazy. You're just doing too much. You're just not doing what works for you and your lifestyle. That's all. That's all. Find comfort in knowing that your hair care regimen should not be complicated and it should not be overwhelming, right? It should not be confusing or any of that. It should be simple and efficient, very effective, right? The next step is adding your inches. And needless to say, when you get to this point, adding inches is just extremely fast. It's no problem. It's no problem in it. It shouldn't be, right? The last step is reaching your fullest potential. So, and hopefully you can hear me. Reaching the fullest potential of your hair is not just in the length of your hair. And you may, and actually, no. I know that you know and understand what I'm saying, right? Your natural hair bliss is not just in the length of your hair, meaning just because you want waist length hair, if you get waist length hair and you're like, okay, cool, but you don't really know how to take care of it, there becomes a problem, right? Your natural hair bliss is you knowing how to take care of your hair, you creating a regimen that just fits your lifestyle, you loving your natural hair, you loving everything about your situations and everything, right? You loving the situation that you're in, you loving your hair, right? You're like, I got this. If something happens to my hair, I know how to fix it. Like, that is your natural hair bliss. And by the way, look up bliss. Look up the word bliss, look up the definition for bliss, and then put natural hair into that. And then that's what I'm talking about with your natural hair bliss, okay? So all of this is your rehab, honey. This is my rehab program. I have a detox program for you. And look, if you need help, just let us know. You can DM me, you can comment with the word support, and I'll send you some more information about that, okay? All right, so let me talk to you about Evolve Your Care, and then we're going to go on to the next segment. We're going to go over your healing quote of the week, which I highly recommend that you do every single week, okay? All right. So this is a diagram of Evolve Your Care. I put my systems and processes into pictures and explanations and everything is numbered and it's a legit thing, right? So what I want to do is I want to walk you through how you can reach your natural hair bliss. The first thing that we do when someone enrolls into one of our online programs, we put them either on a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan. A 3-year plan is if you want to reach bra strap length, and then a 5-year plan is if you want to reach waist length hair. It doesn't matter how long that your hair is currently, we still will put you either on a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, okay? So with that, what I have here is, you remember when I was talking about your progression cycle and the phases, right? So what you'll do each year, you'll go through a phase, right? If you're lucky and you're doing things right and everything is just flowing and going for you, maybe you're able to go through 2 cycles in 1 year. If not, then you should at least, it's on average, I would say 9 months to like 9 to 15 months. So like 9, a quarter of a year to a year, and a quarter, kind of like, you know. So what I did, I broke down each year with the phases. So 5 phases. So you'll go through 1 phase, or, you know, 1 phase, 2 phase, 3, 4, 5, 5. And then each circle is a year. So this represents 5 years. So you, like most of the people that enroll into the program, my Natural Hair Dreamers Club, or, you know, get into our hair care clinic rooms, they want to reach waist length hair. So I usually just go with the 5-year plan, right? So what happens is, we can tell you what results that you're going to get by the time you do each of the phases, which we literally know, right? We know how much hair you should be growing at what time, right? So you go through each year. How you care for your hair at this year is going to be different at this year, and so forth, right? Evolving your care. As your hair gets thicker, as your hair gets longer and stronger, how you care for it will change as well, okay? All right. And now let's end it up with your healing quote of the week.